Well, good morning, friends. Welcome. It's Friday. It's the first time we've done this on a Friday, but it is good to be here with you. I'm West Tennessee Dave. We are live to you now on Twitch at 6:33 in the morning. I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Good to see you. And if you're here later on a VOD on Twitch or YouTube, hello. Welcome as well to you. Hope you will enjoy this story time. All right, what are we going to read today? Today we are going to read Joshua 7 through 11. Let's give a quick recap of where we are. The Israelites, Moses passed away a couple times ago. Joshua is the new leader. They crossed the Jordan River in dramatic fashion and then marched around the first battle point in the Promised Land, which was the city of Jericho. Marched around it, yelled, and the walls came down and they took the city. And so they've seen miracles, a couple of miracles happen, and a couple of miracles come to cease. The crossing of the Jordan River was a miracle. The whole walls falling down is a miracle. The manna that was feeding them every day is no longer happening. So they're having a different experience now of the miracles of God, but nonetheless, they are there to take the promised land. And so, have we learned our lessons and can we still be obedient, or are we going to have other things happen is the question. So, without further ado, let's see what we get into today. Take a sip of hot chocolate before we start. Yes, yes. All right. But Israel violated the instructions about the things set apart for the Lord. A man named Achan had stolen some of these dedicated things, so the Lord was very angry with the Israelites. Achan was the son of Carmi, a descendant of Zimri, son of Zerah, and of the tribe of Judah. Joshua sent some of his men from Jericho to spy out the town of Ai, east of Bethel near Beth Aven. When they returned, they told Joshua, There's no need for all of us to go up there. It won't take more than 2,000 or 3,000 men to attack Ai, since there are so few of them. Don't make all our people struggle to go up there. So approximately 3,000 were sent, but they were soundly defeated. The men of Ai chased the Israelites from the town gate as far as the quarries, and they killed about 36 who were retreating down the slope. The Israelites were paralyzed with fear at this turn of events, and their courage melted away. Joshua and the elders of Israel tore their clothing in dismay, threw dust on their heads, and bowed face down to the ground before the ark of the Lord until evening. Then Joshua cried out, O sovereign Lord, why did you bring us across the Jordan River if you are going to let the Amorites kill us? If only we had been content to stay on the other side. Lord, what can I say now that Israel has fled from its enemies? For when the Canaanites and all the other people living in the land hear about it, they will surround us, wipe our name off the face of the earth, and then what will happen to the honor of your great name? But the Lord said to Joshua, Get up. Why are you lying on your face like this? Israel has sinned and broken my covenant. They have stolen some of the things that I commanded must be set apart for me. And they have not only stolen them, but have lied about it and hidden the things among their own belongings. That is why the Israelites are running from their enemies in defeat. For now, Israel itself has been set apart for destruction. I will not remain with you any longer unless you destroy the things among you that were set apart for destruction. Excuse me. Good morning, Asila. In the morning, you must present yourselves by tribes, and the Lord will point out the tribe to which the guilty man belongs. That tribe must come forward with its clans, and the Lord will point out the guilty clan. That clan will then come forward, and the Lord will point out the guilty family. Finally, each member of the guilty family must come forward one by one. The one who has stolen what was set apart for destruction will himself be burned with fire, along with everything he has, for he has broken the covenant of the Lord and has done a horrible thing in Israel. The next morning, Joshua brought the tribes of Israel before the Lord, and the tribe of Judah was singled out. Then the clans of Judah came forward, and the clan of Zerah was singled out. Then the families of Zerah came forward, and the family of Zimri was singled out. Every every member of Zimri's family was brought forward, person by person, and Achan was singled out. Then Joshua said to Achan, "My son, give glory to the Lord, the God of Israel, by telling the truth. Make your confession, and tell me what you have done. Don't hide it from me." Achan replied, "It is true. I have sinned against the Lord, the God of Israel. Among the plunder I saw a beautiful robe from Babylon, 200 silver coins, and a bar of gold weighing more than a pound. I wanted them so much that I took them. They are hidden in the ground beneath my tent, with the silver buried deeper than the rest." So Joshua sent some of the men to make a search. They ran to the tent and found the stolen goods hidden there, just as Achan had said, with the silver buried beneath the rest. They took the things from the tent and brought them to Joshua. And all the Israelites then laid them on the ground in the presence of the Lord. Then Joshua and all the Israelites took Achan, the silver, the robe, the bar of gold, his sons, daughters, cattle, donkeys, sheep, goats, tent, and everything he had, and they brought them to the valley of Achor. Then Joshua said to Achan, "Why have you brought trouble on us? The Lord will now bring trouble on you." And all of the Israelites stoned Achan and his family and burned their bodies. They piled a great heap of stones over Achan, which remains to this day. That is why the place has been called the Valley of Trouble ever since. So the Lord was no longer angry. Then the Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid or discouraged. Take all your fighting men and attack Ai, for I have given you the king of Ai, his people, his town, and his land. You will destroy them as you destroyed Jericho and its king. By this time you may keep, but this time you may keep the plunder and the livestock for yourselves. Set an ambush behind the town." So Joshua and all the fighting men set out to attack Ai. Joshua chose 30,000 of his best warriors and sent them out at night with these orders: "Hide in ambush close behind the town and be ready for action. When our main army attacks, the men of Ai will come out to fight as they did before, and we will run away from them. We will let them chase us until we have drawn them away from the town, for they will say the Israelites are running away from us as they did before. Then while we are running from them, you will jump up from your ambush, take possession of the town, for the Lord your God will give it to you. Set the town on fire as the Lord has commanded. You have your orders." So they left and went to the place of ambush between Bethel and the west side of Ai. But Joshua remained among the people in the camp that night. Early the next morning, Joshua roused his men and started toward Ai, accompanied by the elders of Israel. All the fighting men who were with Joshua marched in front of the town and camped on the north side of Ai, with a valley between them and the town. That night Joshua sent about 5,000 men to lie in ambush between Bethel and Ai, on the west side of the town. So they stationed the main army north of the town and the ambush west of the town. Joshua himself spent the night in the valley. When the king of Ai saw the Israelites across the valley, he and all his army hurried out early in the morning and attacked the Israelites at a place overlooking the Jordan Valley. But he didn't realize there was an ambush behind the town. Joshua and the Israelite army fled toward the wilderness as though they were badly beaten. Then all the men in the town were called out to chase after them. In this way they were lured away from the town. There was not a man left in Ai or Bethel who did not chase after the Israelites, and the town was left wide open. Then the Lord said to Joshua, "Point the spear in your hand toward Ai, for I will hand the town over to you." Joshua did as he was commanded. As soon as Joshua gave the signal, all the men in ambush jumped up from their position and poured into the town. They quickly captured it and set it on fire. When the men of Ai looked behind them, smoke from the town was filling the sky. They had nowhere to go, for the Israelites who had fled in the direction of the wilderness now turned on their pursuers. When Joshua and all the other Israelites saw that the ambush had succeeded and that the smoke was rising from the town, they turned and attacked the men of Ai. Meanwhile, the Israelites who were inside the town came out and attacked the enemy from the rear, so the men of Ai were caught in the middle with the Israelite fighters on both sides. Israel attacked them, and not a single person survived or escaped. Only the king of Ai was taken alive and brought to Joshua. When the Israelite army finished chasing and killing all the men of Ai in the open fields, they went back and finished off everyone inside. So the entire population of Ai, including men and women, was wiped out that day. 12,000 in all. For Joshua kept holding out his spear until everyone who had lived in Ai was completely destroyed. Only the livestock and the treasures of the town were not destroyed, for the Israelites kept these as plunder for themselves, as the Lord had commanded Joshua. So Joshua burned the town of Ai, and it became a permanent mound of ruins, desolate to this very day. Joshua impaled the king of Ai on a sharpened pole and left him there until evening. At sunset, the Israelites took down the body as Joshua commanded and threw it in front of the town gate. They piled a great heap of stones over him that can still be seen today. Then Joshua built an altar to the Lord, the God of Israel, on Mount Ebal. He followed the commands that Moses, the Lord's servant, had written in the book of instruction. Make an altar from stones that are uncut and have not been shaped with iron tools. Then on the altar they presented the burnt offerings and peace offerings to the Lord. As the Israelites watched, Joshua copied onto the stones of the altar the instructions Moses had given him. Then all the Israelites, foreigners and native born alike, along with the elders, officers, and judges, were divided into two groups. One group stood in front of Mount Gerizim, the other group in front of Mount Ebal. Each group faced each other, and between them stood the Levitical priests carrying the Ark of the Lord's covenant. This was all done according to the commands that Moses, the servant of the Lord, had previously given for blessing the people of Israel. Joshua then read them all the blessings and curses Moses had written in the book of instruction. Every word of every command that Moses had ever given was read to the entire assembly of Israel, including the women and children and the foreigners who lived among them. Now all the kings west of the Jordan River heard about what had happened. These were the kings of the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites who lived in the hill country in the western foothills, and along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea as far north as the Lebanon mountains. These kings combined their armies to fight as one against Joshua and the Israelites. But when the people of Gibeon heard what Joshua had done to Jericho and Ai, they resorted to deception to save themselves. They sent ambassadors to Joshua, loading their donkeys with weathered saddlebags and old patched wineskins. They put on worn-out, patched sandals and ragged clothes, and the bread they took with them was dry and moldy. When they arrived at the camp of Israel at Gilgal, they told Joshua and the men of Israel, "We have come from a distant land to ask you to make a peace treaty with us." The Israelites replied to the Hivites, "How do we know you don't live nearby? Or if you do, we cannot make a treaty with you." They replied, "We are your servants." "But who are you?" Joshua demanded. "Where do you come from?" They answered, "Your servants have come from a very distant country. We have heard of the might of the Lord your God and of all he did in Egypt. We have also heard what he did to the two Amorite kings east of the Jordan River, King Sihon of Heshbon and King Og of Bashan, who lived in Ashtaroth. So our elders and all the people instructed us, take supplies for a long journey. Go meet with the people of Israel and tell them, 'We are your servants. Please make a treaty with us.' This bread was hot from the ovens when we left our homes, but now, as you can see, it is dry and moldy. These wineskins were new when we filled them, but now they are old and split open, and our clothing and sandals are worn out from our very long journey." So the Israelites examined their food, but they did not consult the Lord. Then Joshua made a peace treaty with them and guaranteed their safety, and the leaders of the community ratified their agreement with a binding oath. 3 days after making the treaty, they learned that these people actually lived nearby. The Israelites set out at once to investigate and reached their town in 3 days. The names of these towns were Gibeon, Kephirah, Beeroth, and Kiriath Jearim. But the Israelites did not attack the towns, for the Israelite leaders had made a vow to them in the name of the Lord, the God of Israel. The people of Israel grumbled against their leaders because of the treaty. But the leaders replied, "Since we have sworn an oath in the presence of the Lord, the God of Israel, we cannot touch them. This is what we must do. We must let them live, for divine anger would come upon us if we broke our oath. Let them live." So they made them woodcutters and water carriers for the entire community, as the Israelite leaders directed. Joshua called together the Gibeonites and said, "Why did you lie to us? Why did you say that you lived in a distant land when you live right here among us? May you be cursed. From now on, you will always be servants who cut wood and carry water for the house of my God." They replied, "We did it because we, your servants, were clearly told that the Lord your God commanded his servant Moses to give this entire land and to destroy all the people living in it. So we feared greatly for our lives because of you. That is why we have done this. Now we are at your mercy. Do to us whatever you think is right." So Joshua did not allow the people of Israel to kill them, but that day he made the Gibeonites woodcutters and water carriers for the community of Israel and for the altar of the Lord, wherever the Lord would choose to build it. And that is what they do to this day. Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, heard that Joshua had captured and completely destroyed Ai and killed its king, just as he had destroyed the town of Jericho and killed its king. He also learned that the Gibeonites had made peace with Israel and were now their allies. He and his people became very afraid when they heard all this, because Gibeon was a large town, as large as the royal cities and larger than Ai. And the Gibeonite men were strong warriors. So King Adonizedek of Jerusalem sent messengers to several other kings: Homam of Hebron, Piram of Jarmuth, Japhia of Lachish, and Debir of Eglon. "Come and help me destroy Gibeon," he urged them, "for they have made peace with Joshua and the people of Israel." So these 5 Amorite kings combined their armies for a united attack. They moved all their troops into place and attacked Gibeon. The men of Gibeon quickly sent messengers to Joshua at his camp in Gilgal. "Don't abandon your servants now," they pleaded. "Come at once, save us, help us, for all the Amorite kings who live in the hill country have joined forces to attack us." So Joshua and his entire army, including his best warriors, left Gilgal and set out for Gibeon. "Do not be afraid of them," the Lord said to Joshua, "for I have given you victory over them. Not a single one of them will be able to stand up to you." Joshua traveled all night from Gilgal and took the Amorite armies by surprise. The Lord threw them into a panic, and the Israelites slaughtered great numbers of them at Gibeon. Then the Israelites chased the enemy along the road to Beth Horon, killing them along the way to Esca and Makkedah. As the Amorites retreated down the road from Beth Horon, the Lord destroyed them with a terrible hailstorm from heaven that continued until they reached Esca. The hail killed more of the enemy than the Israelites killed with the sword. On the day the Lord gave the Israelites victory over the Ammonites, Joshua prayed to the Lord in front of all the people, and he said, "Let the sun stand still over Gibeon and the moon over the valley of Aijalon." So the sun stood still and the moon stayed in place until the nation of Israel had defeated its enemies. Is this event not recorded in the book of Jasher? The sun stayed in the middle of the sky and it did not set as on a normal day. There has never been a day like this one before or since when the Lord answered such a prayer. Surely the Lord fought for Israel that day. Then Joshua and the Israelite army returned to their camp at Gilgal. During the battle, the 5 kings escaped and hid in a cave at Makkedah. When Joshua heard that they had been found, he issued this command: "Cover the opening of the cave with large rocks, and place guards at the entrance to keep the kings inside. The rest of you continue chasing the enemy and cut them down from the rear. Don't give them a chance to get back to their towns, for the Lord your God has given you victory over them." So Joshua and the Israelite army continued the slaughter and completely crushed the enemy. They totally wiped out the 5 armies except for a tiny remnant that managed to reach their fortified towns. Then the Israelites returned safely to Joshua in the camp of Makkedah. After that, no one dared to speak even a word against Israel. Then Joshua said, "Remove the rocks covering the opening of the cave and bring the 5 kings to me." So they brought the 5 kings out of the cave, the kings of Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmuth, Lachish, and Eglon. When they brought them out, Joshua told the commanders of his armies, "Come and put your feet on the kings' necks." And they did as they were told. "Don't ever be afraid or discouraged," Joshua told his men. "Be strong and courageous, for the Lord is going to do this to all of your enemies." Then Joshua killed each of the 5 kings and impaled them on 5 sharpened poles, where they hung until evening. As the sun was going down, Joshua gave instructions for the bodies of the kings to be taken down from the poles and thrown into the cave where they had been hiding. Then they covered the opening of the cave with a pile of large rocks, which remains to this very day. That same day, Joshua captured and destroyed the town of Makkedah. He killed everyone in it, including the king, leaving no survivors. He destroyed them all, and he killed the king of Makkedah, as he had killed the king of Jericho. Then Joshua and the Israelites went to Libnah and attacked it. There too the Lord gave them the town and its kings. He killed everyone in it, leaving no survivors. Then Joshua killed the king of Libnah as he had killed the king of Jericho. From Libnah, Joshua and the Israelites went to Lachish and attacked it. Here again the Lord gave them Lachish. Joshua took it on the second day and killed everyone in it, just as he had done at Libnah. During the attack on Lachish, King Horam of Gezer arrived with his army to help defend the town. But Joshua's men killed him and his army, leaving no survivors. Then Joshua and the Israelite army went on to Eglon and attacked it. They captured it that day and killed everyone in it. He completely destroyed everyone, just as he had done at Lachish. From Eglon, Joshua and the Israelite army went up to Hebron and attacked it. They captured the town and killed everyone in it, including its king, leaving no survivors. They did the same thing to all its surrounding villages, and just as he had done at Eglon, he completely destroyed the entire population. Then Joshua and the Israelites turned back and attacked Debir. He captured the town, its kings, and all of its surrounding villages. He completely destroyed everyone in it, leaving no survivors. He did it to Debir and its kings just what he had done to Hebron and to Libnah and its king. So Joshua conquered the whole region, the kings and the people of the hill country, the Negev, the western foothills, and the mountain slopes. He completely destroyed everyone in the land, leaving no survivors, just as the Lord, the God of Israel, had commanded. Joshua slaughtered them from Kadesh Barnea to Gaza and from the region around the town of Goshen up to Gibeon. Joshua conquered all these kings and their land in a single campaign, for the Lord, the God of Israel, was fighting for his people. Then Joshua and the Israelite army returned to their camp at Gilgal. When King Jabin of Hazor heard what had happened, he sent messages to the following kings: King Jobab of Madon, King Simron, the king of Akshaph, all the kings of the northern hill countries, the kings of the Jordan Valley, south of Galilee, the kings in the Galilean foothills, the kings of Naphoth Dor on the west, the kings of Canaan, both east and west, the kings of the Amorites, the king of the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hebusites, the Jebusites in the hill country, and the Hivites in the towns on the slopes of Mount Hermon in the land of Mizpah. All these kings came out to fight. Their combined armies formed a vast horde, and with all their horses and chariots, they covered the landscape like the sand on the seashore. The kings joined forces and established their camp around the water near Merom to fight against Israel. Then the Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid of them. By this time tomorrow I will hand all of them over to Israel as dead men. You must cripple their horses and burn their chariots." So Joshua and all his fighting men traveled to the water near Merom and attacked suddenly. And the Lord gave the victory over their enemies. The Israelites chased them as far as Greater Sidon and Mizroth Maim, and eastward in the valley of Mizpah, until not one enemy warrior was left alive. Then Joshua crippled the horses and burned all the chariots as the Lord had instructed. Joshua then turned back and captured Hazor and killed his king. Hazor had at one time been the capital of all the kingdoms. The Israelites completely destroyed every living thing in the city, leaving no survivors. Not a single person was spared. And then Joshua burned the city. Joshua slaughtered all the other kings and their people, completely destroying them, just as Moses, the servant of the Lord, had commanded. But the Israelites did not burn any of the towns built on mounds except Hazor, which Joshua burned. And the Israelites took all the plunder and livestock and ravaged towns for themselves, but they killed all the people, leaving no survivors, as the Lord had commanded his servant Moses. So Moses commanded Joshua, and Joshua did as he was told, carefully obeying all the commands that the Lord had given Moses. So Joshua conquered the entire region, the hill country, the entire Negev, the whole area around the town of Goshen, the western foothills, the Jordan Valley, the mountains of Israel, and the Galilean foothills. The Israelite territory now extended all the way from Mount Halak, which leads up to Seir in the south, as far north as Baal Gad at the foot of Mount Hermon in the valley of Lebanon. Joshua killed all the kings of those territories, waging war for a long time to accomplish this. No one in this region made peace with the Israelites except the Hivites of Gibeon. All the others were defeated. For the Lord hardened their hearts and caused them to fight the Israelites. So they were completely destroyed without mercy, as the Lord had commanded Moses. During this period, Joshua destroyed all the descendants of Anak who lived in the hill country of Hebron, Debir, Anab, and the entire hill country of Judah in Israel. He killed them all and completely destroyed their towns. None of the descendants of Anak were left in all the land of Israel, though some still remained in Gaza, Gath, and Ashdod. So Joshua took control of the entire land, just as the Lord had instructed Moses. He gave it to the people of Israel as their special possession, dividing the land among the tribes. So the land finally had rest from war. Okay, that's where we're going to stop today. So as we had said before, this journey to take the land that is occupied by other people, when you're going to invade a country, it's often pretty messy. And I mean, that's just war 101, right? If you're going to try to take and occupy land that's already occupied by somebody, those that are living there are going to fight for it typically. They're not just going to hand it over to you. And we're seeing that here. The Lord had promised this land to the Israelites all the way back to Abraham. And he's making good on his promise. He had said a long time ago that it wasn't time yet for a while because the sins of those people wasn't great enough. But the time has come for the Israelites to gather their land, and so they've been basically at war now for a number of years to take these different lands of the promised land. So it's not always the easiest part of reading. And honestly, when you think about God and you think about these stories, it seems to be kind of harsh, kind of empire building, things that we've seen throughout time. Like, where's the mercy and grace towards everyone, towards people? And I mean, this is where a lot of people struggle with God. Some people love the stories of war and conquering, and other people are like, is that really what the kingdom is about? Is about war and about destroying other people. And for better or worse, this same mentality goes on today in our world, and we're seeing it even now in our own country, that we're at war with another region of the world, and it's messy, it's ugly, there's death associated with it. Soldiers on our side die, soldiers on their side die, civilians are dying on their side because it's being fought in their land. And you may like it, you may not. Like, I don't know. These are very difficult things, and the Bible is not like holding back here. And not only that, this is being done at the Lord's command to Joshua. So, And it has been prophesied and predicted that this would happen. So this is taking place. It's not easy, though. It's not easy. You also can see, though, that God treats his own people the exact same way that he's treating the outsiders. And so at least he's being fair. Achan took some things that were set apart for destruction. And this is the mentality and attitude that God is trying to rid. He's trying to rid these evil thought patterns from the lives of the people in this area, including his own. And so this man, Achan, sees something and covets it. And this is one of the big no-nos in Jewish culture. And it's probably should be a big no-no in every culture. Uh, and for those listening here in America, covetousness is like the it's kind of like almost the ruling authority of what keeps our society going. We are always kind of being told, we need this, you should get this, your neighbors have this, keep up with the Joneses, right? That's coveting. To want what somebody else has, or to want to have something better than somebody else has it. And so that is not what God wants for them. He wants people to be content where they are and content with what they have. Um, Now, you have to fight sometimes to keep what you have or to take it. And so, this principle of war, even though it is hard to like talk about in here, is still a principle that exists today and natural. But as we transition into the future, the journey of this is going to change from just a natural war to a spiritual war. And I think that's what God has in mind for us. And so it is a constant in life that we are supposed to fight a spiritual war going forward. And you see this word over and over again in Joshua's book: be strong and courageous. In order to fight the spiritual war, you have to be strong and courageous. You have to know you have to fight this battle, and you're going to have to fight it for a while in order to gain ground. Because often in your life, we've made treaties with people like the Gibeonites, and we're going to complain about it, even though we've made treaties with them. And we're going to do that with spiritual forces in our lives often. And we have to figure out how to war against those things. And that is the journey that all people are on today. They might not even realize it, but is the war set against them becoming who God wants them to be? Because that's the enemy's greatest goal, is to get you to not become what you're supposed to be. And so we might not like war. We might not like talking about it or thinking about it in this way. We might not like thinking about completely destroying everything. But in order to gain peace and live securely in a place, physically and also then spiritually, we have to destroy those enemies that are just hanging around us. If we just let all these things that we've made agreements with and treaties with as our sources of comfort, they're going to continue to take us away from that which allows us to come to be who God wants us to be, which hopefully we want to become that as well, because He generally has a good plan for us. And so we have to trust that. That's what we've been learning through this thing. He has a plan for us, and we have to trust that. In order to get there, we have to deal with the things that war against us becoming that. And that's our journey in life. And sometimes that goes faster. Sometimes that's a slow, long process for all of your journey. But that is what these stories are trying to show us, is that we're going to have to be at war with these spiritual forces that try to hold us back and deceive us, lie to us, and make us not become who we are meant to be. So, what does that look like in your life? I mean, what are the things that you're warring against? Depression, coveting, anger, comforts of this life. There's a long list that you'll have to figure out, right? These are the enemies, the cities that are planted. I mean, they could be giant metropolises in your life that you're going to have to war against in order to become spiritually in a good place. Otherwise, you're always going to be just navigating back to those places. Okay. I said enough. Thank you for being here today. I hope you take this opportunity to think about those things today as you go forth. Think about the places that God might want you to be strong and courageous about dealing with in your own life. And these are not to like the way we war now. It says in way further in the storyline is we war not against flesh and blood anymore. It's not about physical wars, but it's about principalities and powers, things that are controlling our lives that we've given into that we don't even realize. So take some time, think about those things. What have you given your life over to that is not supposed to be in control of your life? And then war against that. War against that. Okay. And if you need help, you guys can always reach out to me. You guys know where I'm at. Obviously, I'm here. This is our first Friday doing this. I'll be back with you guys for Sunday morning for the next session of the stories. And I look forward to it. And I'm glad we can have this time together. All right. Take care. Love you all.